back with another one. As I had promised that give y'all another video, so before I get into the main stuff, when I started out using Spotify, which was high school, I added a bunch of stuff to my playlist. Of course, I had way more time in a way. Nowadays, I'm like, I just be having whatever play on my Spotify. Whenever I play some of these playlists or whatever, a lot of times I don't be looking to see who the artists are. Some cases I do remember, but because I be having the music playing in the background, just be like, if it sounds good or whatever, I just have it keep on playing. I don't be remembering to just add it because I'm on to something else. I'm not really conscious and thinking oh yeah, maybe I should, But I just say this year alone, since I came back to school, it hasn't been that main focus, man. I have a few playlists that I did start to give a new perspective of similar sounds or something, same drums and the beats or whatever. I should just start fresh, just create a whole new playlist for the new year. I haven't really been playing my playlist like that as much as I used to, because I'm just what, every single time, and this is Spotify's fault, their shuffle, even with the smart shuffle, even though they recommend new stuff, they still shuffle kind of similar songs in your playlist, and knowing dang well that you got thousands and hundreds of other songs they could be playing. But I digress. I got a list of 75 albums. First, we got Insano. Okay, yeah, that's the first one that Kid Cudi dropped right back, literally beginning of the year. There was a lot of bangers on that one I liked. Mostly the whole album for real. And then when he dropped Insano, Nitro, Mega, I prefer that one over the first one. Because my replay value on that second one was way better. The one funny rap song called Willis, bro, with him and Chip the Ripper. And it's cool he brought that dude back. Flying High Part 2. This was by The Alchemist. He had, some of his Goonies on there. But The Alchemist stayed dropping stuff. But he just has so much, man. And it's cool. I listened to that whole thing. I think I came back to the instrumentals later or whatever. But the main tracks though are really dope though. And I was listening to that, I think, beginning of the year. Pardon My French by Jahari Masamba Unit. If you're into jazz, or I guess maybe acid jazz or something like that, and you chill, hip hop, alternative hip hop, and these are instrumentals too, by the way. So if you like that kind of stuff, this is a good album. This is produced by Kareem Riggins and Madlib. If y'all enjoy the stuff that they make, then this would be a good project to listen to. Michael, yeah, man, he got that Grammy, representing Atlanta. It was basically the self-titled album of Killer Mike. This is his actual name, first name. I really felt some of those tracks, grieving about his mom, all that, keep it brief, but it's you can resonate with it, empathize. Everybody is gonna have to deal with that, grieving, losing someone, that they care about and love. So there was also some other great stuff that he had talked about. If you're into Atlanta hip hop, trap too, there's some bangers in there. To the Jungle by the one and only Kareem Riggins that I mentioned earlier. If you are a producer or you a drum nerd or you're a drummer, this could be anybody too, but those are the top I would think that would probably listen to this project, because this is basically a beat tape of drum tracks that Kareem Riggins had produced. And it's just drums, you know. It's like an instrumental album almost, kind of like what I have released. And for those of you who don't know, you know, I have released an album back in February 27th. But yeah, so if you're into drums and stuff like that, as far as like sound design too, and just like his drums go crazy. Did a beat with Denzel Curry. I think it was called Angels or whatever. It was off like my eyes see your future. It's featured his name on there. So, but yeah, that's the drums, man. That's the drums. Blue Lips, the one and only Blue Lips by Schoolboy Q from TDE. If you're a first listener, listen to Blank Face first, you know, like the best album that he has released, in my opinion. Spirits by Odd Probably already noticed like all these I'm mentioning, they're not going to be released. All these haven't been released this year, of course. So again, this is all albums that have resonated with me this year. So yeah, but this album really, this is like another beat. You know, if producers out there, you know what I'm saying, like this man is a producer. He makes beats. He made a beat for Caleb City, which I had literally earlier this year. Crazy. It goes back to high school almost. A minute. I'm not gonna lie. A minute. You know, just have it in. It's short for apartment. APT dot 505 by Coast Contra. If you're into Tribe Called Quest or Wu-Tang Clan, you need to listen to this new group. They have the most unique flows. Their rhythm patterns when they rap, it's so crazy. Crazy good. The creativeness with it, it's just insane. Like each one of them has their own style, you know, but they are very versatile in their flows. If y'all haven't seen their freestyles too, by the way, watch those videos. It speaks for itself. Oh, and then another project they released, the Old Way mixtape. So like those two projects, you know, I was listening to the spring semester of 2023. That was some of that time. Or not spring 2020. What am I talking about? Oh my gosh. Spring of 2024. A junior year. That was some of that time when I was still in the dorms. So yeah, for sure. I Learned to Swim by Redville. Good project, you know. He produced, I believe, the whole thing. Redville. He got some nice beats on here. Got some jazz influences in there. If you like that type of sound, with like some like trap style beats or whatever, then hop on in and listen. We got Yahweh is Love. I believe that's, yeah. Again, by Jahari Masamba Unit. Again, like if you're really into jazz and like hip hop, this is for you. Metaphorical music. Um Nujabiz, I think that's how you say it. Matter of fact, no, because I literally was trying to remember, like, all right, can I say this right before I record? How do you say it, Google? New Jobbers. There we go. I was wrong. You know, rest in peace, you know, forever, live forever through the music. And he had great production with the beats and all that and the samples. Man, it just makes you want to actually be in nature, you know, with the flutes and the kind of like cinematic, nice drum patterns, like hip hop drum patterns. That's like kind of similar to Jay Dilla, but well, Jay Dilla had its own like swing to it, but with this, it's like kind of almost in the same pocket, but not, you know, like they both had created their own type of sounds. So still, but y'all should check that out. Vultures One, Yay and Dollar Sign. But now we all know that one song. Oh, oh, We all know that was spring semester, junior year. Everybody kept freaking reciting the dang. Oh, it's called Carnival. Of course. How I forget, Carnival. There's some words in there I ain't gonna say, but go, Carnival. Carnival. It's probably impossible. Go, go. It's so stupid. Black Market by Weather Report, released April 17th, 1976. Yeah, whoa. Before all y'all was born, before Gen Z. I always have to, give props to my mom, putting me on this jazz fusion. That came out in the 70s and stuff. She grew up listening to that. So it's a great project if you want to hear the prime of jazz fusion. Weather Report is a great start to dive into. Mr. Gone, too, which was released the same day, but on 1978, though. So now you got two projects that y'all can listen to for like jazz fusion from the 70s. So great. Mr. Gone, I would say by far the most replay value I've ever, honestly, out of this year. Honestly, Weather Report literally held me through this year. Anika by Teebs. And if you want to get in some electronic music, kind of chill, definitely get into him. F.U.N. Fun by Slum Village, the one and only from the hip hop group from Detroit. They got one joint with Corday featured on there. It's a nice project, If you wanna, if you're inspired by Jay Dilla and all that, if you like that type of sound, listen to that group. Fearless Movement by Kamasi Washington, released May 3rd, 2024. Hey, if you into jazz fusion in a way, listen to Kamasi Washington. And this is a new project too with Andre 3000 on it. And D Smoke. And Thundercat definitely played on one of the songs. Decent project. Not too long like his other albums. This is more digestible. So if you like that kind of sound music, definitely run this up. Empathogen by Willow, May 3rd, 2024. Do y'all see the trend? It is kind of like alternative rock or whatever or something. But it's kind of like jazz a little bit. Yeah, I can't really describe the genre for real, but it's a nice sound. Not too long of an album too. If you want to listen to something new, dive in. Speaker Box, The Love Below, the last full album, really double album or double LP by The Outcast, or by Outkast. Ain't no the in front of it. It's a great album. I've been diving through this discography, and they got the stuff from Atlanta, and they deserve the accolades. The best hip hop album, to date. So, and that's no cap. Timeless by Kaytranada. This was basically my summer of this year. It's a great album, got a lot of great features on there. Basically house music, kind of mixed with like hip hop too. So dive into that. Don't sleep on Katra. Why, Lord? Why? I'm on my knees. Why? Where do I go from here? Why, Lord? Oh, gotta put that Anderson Paak on them. You know what I'm saying? Listen to Why, Lord by Next Worries, which is the group of Anderson Paak and Knowledge, the producer. Run That Up, their sophomore album. Follow up. After, I think, a decade? Has it been a decade or almost a decade since their first album? And this definitely chill, too. They got some great features on there. Stankonia, another Outkast banger, mixed with a different style of beats, but it's still hip hop too. Rich Ass Haitian by Mac Omi. Again, this was some of my summer too, in my intern housing. If you kind of like the Alchemist type of sound stuff too, and he made a project with him, dive in, and it's a mix of different. The Katra produced one joint on there too. The Rebirth of Marvin by October London. So basically, the reference that I just did, singing that "Where Do I Go From Here?" Yeah, that was him singing that part. That was him featured on there. So definitely run that up, and he paid homage doing this project, to Marvin Gaye, of course. So he did a phenomenal job. Head Rush by Channel Trez. I believe that's how you say his first name. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Y'all let me know if I messed it up. Again, it was my summer too. Got some nice dance music. If you like that type of stuff. Bad Cameo by James Blake and hold up. Yeah, no, it's another person too. Lil Yachty. Let me stop. Yeah, I thought it was great. I listened to it through. It's like it's basically electronic music and like I don't even like it's chill, like the reverb and all that, spacey kind of sound. Yeah, I'm not able to describe it right now for real, because I'm like trying to get through these real quick. I believe that project is gonna get slept on. I wouldn't be surprised if some of y'all like, dang, I forgot they freaking yeah. I think it is gonna be like one of those, because I think that was just like a random drop too. It wasn't really like promoted for real. So, um, but yeah, the Comfort Zone 10th anniversary version, finally released on Spotify streaming platform. So that was just like the anniversary gift. And it was my first time actually, no, I take that back. No, I had listened to the whole project already through on YouTube, over the summer. But now that it's on Spotify, yeah, the replay value on a bunch of those tracks went up. So if you like Saba, the alternative hip hop type stuff, Chicago kind of sound too, I guess. I mean, he's from Chicago or whatever, but um, kind of like fast flows, it's cool. Definitely tap in. Ultra 85 by Logic. Now this joint had been in the works for years, okay, years. And I listened to that whole thing. It's a great project. It really is. And yeah, I had listened to that whole project once and didn't even go back to it. Funny enough, in retrospect, because like a bunch of stuff has just been going on. But it's a great project though. If y'all like Logic, if y'all like some of his like earlier works, The Incredible True Story, it's kind of like that type of theme a little bit, but like more related to like AI. So like Everybody, that other album too, kind of just like the flow of the album basically feels like a movie. So if you kind of like that kind of stuff, tap in. Moonlight to Sunlight by Monopoly. Great album. Again, electronic music and dance music. So there's another joint with Thundercat on it at the end. More lyrics to it, with this album, and from California, so West Coast type of electronic sounds too. So definitely tap in if y'all want. The two projects on y'all from Benjamin Earl Turner. First one is called Selling Air, and the next one, Bad Nature. I prefer that one over the first one I mentioned. And that's because the producer, but he produced for Saba, I think a little bit of Smino, a lot of Saba stuff, basically recent stuff. So like some of his beats is kind of like the type of sound that's kind of like in this album too. So it's a good listen. So I would say if you new to this dude, Benjamin Earl Turner, I recommend you listen to Bad Nature first and then Selling Air. Gap year. Like that's what I'm gonna do after I graduate. I ain't trying to get no dang masters right now. That's how I feel right now. Okay, but Don't get me wrong though. I have looked into some schools though. So my mind is just not there right now. But anyway, this album is by the one and only Layla. Beginning of the semester, basically. So I will say I did run up the whole album, like as I was going to school, and then after class. I think it's chill, but I know it's probably. I think some of the intention like is to dance and stuff too. Like it's pretty cool. Man, I'm not even going to just like go thorough with it. My opinion, like it's not like oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying. One of the tracks, of course, though, like everybody knows, that's not my problem. That's just like, of course, that's a banger. So it's a chill, relatable. So definitely tap into that. Orion by Orion Sun. Or I think it's Orion Sun. I think I'm overcomplicating today pronunciation. Either way, yeah, that's another chill album too. Tapped into that album. And it's definitely good travel music. Coyote by the one and only has been building the momentum by Tommy Rich. Man, and my timer went off. Actually, almost halfway of this list. I'm gonna have to listen to that whole album again, but there's some bangers in that. There's some dance songs in there too. Some of them have similar sound to the single that he had dropped that everybody probably thought, I kind of thought it would be on the album, but then he was like, nah, it's not going to be on the album. There's definitely something there, bro. Like, he got a sound there. Yeah, that's it, y'all. For now.